Most people think they understand Florida. Sunshine, beaches, theme parks, and a reputation for being wild and free. It feels like the kind of place where rules barely exist. But the truth is, Florida quietly has some of the most surprising, misunderstood, and controversial laws in the entire country. Some of them affect your car, some affect what you can do in public, and one of them, the final law in this video, sparks arguments every single time it's mentioned. So make sure you stick around until the end, because that last Florida law is the one that always sets the comment section on fire. And if you like content that exposes the rules no one explains, go ahead and subscribe to State Secrets now, because every state has laws hiding in plain sight. Let's start with something that a lot of people do without thinking, especially tourists and road trippers: sleeping in your car. Most people assume that if you're tired, sober, and parked safely, sleeping in your car is completely legal. In Florida, that's not always true. While there's no statewide ban on sleeping in your vehicle, many Florida cities and counties have their own laws that restrict it. These rules are especially common near beaches, downtown areas, tourist zones, and residential neighborhoods. If you pull into a public parking lot after hours and decide to sleep, police can legally knock on your window, tell you to move, or even issue you a citation. In some places, sleeping in your car can be classified as loitering, camping without a permit, or suspicious behavior. That's where this law becomes controversial. It often affects van lifers, gig workers, people traveling long distances, or even people who are simply too tired to keep driving safely. Supporters of these laws say they exist to prevent crime and manage public spaces. Critics argue they unfairly target people who don't have many other options. Either way, this is one of the most commonly broken laws in Florida, and many people don't even realize it exists. If you've ever thought to yourself, "I'll just sleep it off in my car," that decision could actually get you fined depending on where you are. And before we move on, if you didn't know that was even a thing, hit subscribe, because the laws only get more surprising from here. Now let's talk about wildlife, because Florida takes this extremely seriously. Most people know you're not supposed to feed alligators. That part isn't shocking. What surprises people is how far Florida's wildlife laws actually go. In many parts of the state, feeding wildlife of any kind is illegal. That includes ducks, birds, raccoons, squirrels, and other animals people normally think are harmless. Tossing bread to ducks in a park might feel innocent, but in certain areas, it can lead to a fine. Feeding an alligator, on the other hand, is considered a serious offense and can result in heavy fines, court appearances, or even jail time in extreme cases. The reason behind the law is safety. When animals associate humans with food, they become more aggressive and unpredictable. But this is where the controversy comes in. These laws are often enforced heavily in tourist areas and nature preserves, while similar behavior is ignored elsewhere. Visitors are far more likely to be cited than locals. Some people argue this is necessary to protect wildlife and people. Others believe it's selective enforcement that targets tourists who don't know the rules. Either way, Florida's wildlife laws are strict, and not knowing them doesn't protect you. If you're visiting Florida and think feeding animals is harmless, the state strongly disagrees. And if this one surprised you, the next law usually makes people argue even more. Most drivers worry about speeding tickets. Very few people realize that in Florida, you can also be pulled over for driving too slowly. Florida law allows police to stop drivers who are moving so slowly that they disrupt the normal flow of traffic, especially on highways and major roads. This can happen even if you're technically under the speed limit. The problem is that this law is subjective. What counts as too slow depends on the situation and the officer. Some drivers claim they were just being cautious. Police argue that slow drivers can be just as dangerous as fast ones by causing congestion and sudden braking. This law tends to affect tourists unfamiliar with Florida roads, elderly drivers, and people driving cautiously in bad weather. Supporters say the law improves traffic safety. Critics say it gives police too much discretion to pull people over. Enforcement varies widely across the state, which is why so many people don't realize this is even a thing until it happens to them. So, yes, in Florida, driving too carefully can still get you pulled over. And if you've ever been stuck behind someone going way under the speed limit, you probably have an opinion about this one. Drop it in the comments. And if you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure you're subscribed, because we're just getting to the most controversial laws now. Next is a law that affects what you say and do in public, and this is where things start getting heated. Florida cities have strict local ordinances around noise and public disturbances. In many areas, yelling, loud singing, blasting music, or causing a disturbance late at night can result in fines. Yes, even singing loudly in public can be cited under noise laws depending on the time and location. This law becomes controversial because of free speech concerns. Where exactly is the line between expression and disturbance? One person can be loud and get ignored, while another person does the same thing and gets fined. Especially in tourist areas, enforcement can feel inconsistent. Supporters say these laws protect residents and keep neighborhoods livable. Critics argue they're vague, subjective, and open to abuse. What makes it even more confusing is that these rules change from city to city. Something legal in one Florida town might be illegal just a few miles away. This leads to frustration for both residents and visitors who think they're doing nothing wrong. And this brings us to the final law, the one that sparks more debate than any other on this list. So before we get there, if you want more videos like this covering every state in America, subscribe to State Secrets now, because this channel exists to break down the rules no one explains. Florida's Stand Your Ground law is one of the most talked about and misunderstood laws in the country. It's often portrayed as a free pass to use force whenever someone feels threatened, but that's not how it actually works. The law removes the duty to retreat under very specific circumstances, but the use of force still has to meet strict legal standards. Feeling angry is not the same as feeling threatened, and fear alone is not enough. Evidence still matters. Context still matters. Improper use of force can still result in arrest, criminal charges, and prison time. The controversy comes from how this law is perceived and applied. Supporters argue it empowers people to defend themselves without hesitation. Critics argue it encourages unnecessary escalation and is applied unevenly depending on the situation. Both sides point to real cases to support their views. What makes this law especially divisive is how much misinformation surrounds it. Many people believe they fully understand it when they don't. Florida's reputation amplifies every incident tied to this law, making it one of the most debated laws not just in the state, but in the entire country. This is the law that always splits opinions right down the middle. Do stand your ground laws make society safer or more dangerous? That question alone can keep comment sections arguing for days. And that's the reality of Florida. It's not lawless. It's not simple. And it's definitely not what most people think. Beneath the sunshine and chaos is a complex set of rules that can surprise even lifelong residents. And Florida is just one state. Every state in the country has laws hiding beneath the surface. Some strange, some outdated, and some that spark serious debate. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because State Secrets is exposing every state, one law at a time. And let us know in the comments which state you want covered next.